There are moments in life when you become a different person. Not permanently, just for a few minutes. A footballer suddenly sees spaces no one else can see. A programmer writes hundreds of lines of code without realizing the sun has already set. An artist forgets to eat. A creator sits down to edit for half an hour and looks up 4 hours later. It's strange. Their body gets tired, but their mind doesn't. Time seems to disappear. Decisions become effortless. Performance reaches a level they can't consistently explain. So what exactly happens inside the brain during moments like these? Is it talent, motivation, adrenaline, or is there something else that almost every high performer eventually experiences? Scientists have spent decades trying to answer that question, and what they discovered completely changed the way we understand peak performance. It turns out those extraordinary moments aren't random. They're the result of a very specific mental state, one that psychologists call flow. But here's the problem. Most people think they've experienced flow, when in reality, they haven't, because they mistake entertainment for flow. Watching videos for 3 hours isn't flow. Scrolling social media until midnight isn't flow. Even playing a game on autopilot isn't necessarily flow. Those activities consume your attention. Flow transforms it. And that's the difference. Flow doesn't happen when your brain is escaping reality. It happens when your entire mind is fully engaged with it. Scientists discovered something fascinating. Peak performance isn't random. It happens when two invisible forces are perfectly balanced. This simple graph explains why some moments become unforgettable while others feel empty. Look at the bottom. When your ability is much higher than the challenge, you become bored. Imagine asking an experienced chess grandmaster to play against someone who's never touched a chessboard. He'll probably win, but he won't enjoy it. His mind isn't being stretched. Now look at the top. When the challenge is far beyond your current ability, your brain moves in the opposite direction. Instead of excitement, you feel anxiety. Imagine someone who's never spoken in public, suddenly standing in front of 50,000 people. The pressure is so overwhelming that learning almost stops, but between boredom and anxiety, there's a narrow path where challenge grows at almost the same pace as your ability. That's where flow begins. You're not comfortable, you're not overwhelmed, you're stretched just enough to become completely absorbed. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who spent decades studying this phenomenon, described it like this: the best moments usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. Notice those last words: difficult, worthwhile. Both are necessary, because your brain doesn't enter flow by accident. It enters flow when it believes what you're doing truly matters and demands your complete attention. That's why the greatest athletes often describe losing all sense of time during competition. The basketball hoop suddenly looks bigger. The game slows down. Every movement feels effortless. Not because the game became easier, but because years of practice finally met the right level of challenge. The same thing happens to musicians, programmers, writers, editors, even scientists. Now compare that to social media. People often say, "I scrolled for 3 hours without realizing it." Isn't that flow? No, that's passive attention. The platform is doing the work. It keeps changing the stimulus for you. New video, new post, new notification, new dopamine hit. Your brain isn't creating, it's reacting. Flow is the opposite. You become the source of attention, not the consumer of it. That's why scrolling usually leaves you mentally tired. Real flow leaves you mentally fulfilled. There's another reason most people rarely experience it. They choose goals that are either too small or impossibly large. If the challenge is too easy, your brain checks out. If it's too intimidating, your brain fills with fear. The secret isn't choosing an easy goal. It's choosing one that stretches you without breaking you. Think of learning a language. Trying to read advanced literature on your first day creates frustration. Repeating the alphabet for 6 months creates boredom. But reading something that's just slightly above your current level forces your brain to grow. That's the sweet spot. And here's something even more interesting. Flow isn't something you find. It's something you earn. People often ask, how do I get into flow? Usually they're asking for a shortcut. There isn't one. Flow is the reward your brain gives you for paying complete attention to something meaningful. Not because you're motivated, not because you're inspired, but because the challenge in front of you demands everything you have. This is why distractions are so dangerous. Every notification, every unnecessary glance at your phone, every interruption breaks the bridge your mind is trying to build. Deep work requires uninterrupted attention. Flow demands it. And that's becoming increasingly increasingly rare, because modern technology is designed to keep your attention moving, while flow requires your attention to stay still. The irony is almost tragic. We have more entertainment than any generation before us, yet fewer moments of complete immersion. We consume more, but experience less. Maybe that's why so many people finish their day feeling busy, but strangely empty, because attention was scattered across hundreds of tiny moments, instead of invested in one meaningful one. So if you truly want to experience flow, don't ask, how can I stay motivated? Ask a different question. What challenge is important enough that it deserves my complete attention? Then remove every distraction that competes with it. Choose a challenge that pushes your current ability without crushing it. Stay with it long enough for your mind to settle, and eventually, something remarkable happens. The clock disappears. The noise disappears. Your doubts disappear. There is no audience, no comparison, no fear of failure, only the challenge and the person becoming capable enough to meet it. That's not luck. That's not talent. That's what psychologists call flow. And if you want to learn the mental model that made Charlie Munger billions, watch this video next.